episode number 2. So we started this series last week where we were covering 5 steps to improve all the tasks in PTE. That's what we believe, that it just takes 5 steps to improve in your PTE. You just need to follow these 5 steps and all the tasks and you will get your desired score. Now guys, today we'll be going through the read aloud module. So there are a lot of doubts, a lot of questions out there which students have normally when they come across this particular task. Even though we developed one of the best strategy for read aloud out there, still a lot of students have a couple of questions when it comes to the PTE read aloud from the speaking module. So I'm just waiting for others to quickly join. We are just going to discuss the very important task of your PTE speaking, which is read aloud. And we will be giving you 5 steps to improve in read aloud. That's all you need. Just 5 steps to improve in read aloud section. Now, meanwhile, if you guys face any issues or questions, if you have, you can always post them in the comment sections. We will be replying them alongside with the live session today. Also, a good news, we have already announced this, face-to-face learning has begun finally. After months and months of lockdowns, we are finally, very happy to start face-to-face learning. Students who have not registered for their slot for face-to-face, I highly recommend them to go to the group and start and book your slot so that you can, get the access to the labs. And we have recently developed exam rooms for the students out there. So it's going to be very exciting for everyone. Okay, guys, I think we have enough participants. Let's begin. Starting with the episode number 2 of PTE 5-step series, that's read aloud. Now, one important thing, guys, when it comes to read aloud, the very first step, which every one of you guys need to, note down, that when it comes to the read aloud, never do self-corrections. That is number 1 rule. Number 1 step is never do self-correction. Now, a lot of times students face issues or they feel hesitating while speaking. Sometimes they make mistake. Now, see, when I do some practice for read alouds, I also sometimes tend to make mistake. That's very common. Okay, but don't stop over there. Don't panic over there. Don't hesitate over there. Don't self-correct yourself. Move on. Okay, 1 or 2 words, if you mess up, you're gonna still get your desired scores. You're gonna still get 90 out of 90, not only for your speaking but also for your reading. Okay, so we have that much margin. But if you stop over there, you try to self-correct yourself, that's a mistake. So very important, do not do self-corrections whatsoever in your read aloud. Now, step number 2. Step number 2 is very common step, which a lot of students basically miss out, is your preparation time. Now you get somewhere around 35 to 40 seconds for the preparation for your read alouds. Now with the new strategy, we need half of that time. That's it. So we just need about 20 seconds maximum to prepare. But anyways, we got 35 to 40 seconds in our exams. But what we have to do is spend first 15 to 20 seconds to thoroughly go through the actual text and then revise it again before you actually start. So we will have ample amount of time to fix some mistakes, ample amount of time to make sure that we don't make any pronunciation mistake. That's your step number 2, that utilize your preparation time wisely. Now, step number 3, students who already know the strategy, they would understand this. When it comes to read aloud, content matters, but fluency matters the most. And your pronunciation. Now, when it comes to the pronunciation, your clarity is everything. That's why we have a microphone over here. A lot of times students really don't know where to keep the placement of the mic. So I'm going to show you the optimal position for your read alouds for your speaking module. Guys, this is the microphone. Normally, this is the microphone you will be, similar to this, you will be getting in the exam. You have a very long neck of the microphone and you can move it like this and this. Okay, so very important step is when it comes to the microphone, don't keep it too close. We tend to keep it too close, and sometimes we keep it too far. Okay, it should be somewhere around 3 to 4 fingers away from your mouth. That's it. Either 3 or 4, depending on your size of the microphone and obviously your size of the fingers. Okay, so I normally keep 4 fingers right away from my mouth. Now, don't keep it just in front of your mouth, just a little bit close to the lower lip. That's where you need to keep it. Close to the lower lip, and that will do the job. Now, this way, when you're speaking, you will not, be catching up, or your microphone will not be catching up your breath. Your background noise will not be there, and that will help you to increase your pronunciation marks for your read aloud. That was your step number 3. Now, when it comes to step number 4, now step number 4 for your read aloud is basically very simple. You have to just make sure that you follow this step whenever you practice read alouds, or whenever you study at home, or when you give the exam. Very important thing is, before you go to the next question, okay, that means, let's say you have finished your answer for the very first question, you quickly move to the next question without wasting any time, without waiting for the entire time to finish. Now, we have seen some students, they have made this blunder with the new strategy. Especially, they waited till the very end for all the time to finish, okay, and they didn't get good scores in the speaking. So this is what you need to avoid. Do not wait for the entire 40 seconds which you get to speak to finish. As long as you have finished your answer according to the new strategy, you move to the next question. Do not wait for the entire time to finish. So that's very technical, but a lot of times students miss out, and some students have made this mistake. So my advice is that you do not make this mistake. Okay, that's very common mistake which students tend to make. Final step. Now, final step is, we all know that for read alouds we get a beep sound. Now, recently what I have noticed is, some students, sometimes they feel very excited, overwhelmed in the exam or in the mock test. They speak before the beep sound. So some of the words will not be recorded for them. That's very important. You always wait for the beep sound to finish, and then you give a second, and then you start speaking, or start reading it aloud, the text given on the screen. So that's very important. Yeah, that's why that your words should not be missed out, your words should not be omitted. Your entire answer should be recorded, but it will be only recorded after the beep sound. After beep sound, give a 1 second, and then start speaking. So it's very important that you do not miss out in your reading marks or in your speaking marks. Now, these were the 5 steps which, if you follow them properly, you will never miss out in your read aloud section. Now, we have one of the comments over here. Let's answer that comment. So one of the students says, that's my major problem, read aloud. Yes, we can totally understand. A lot of students face issues when it comes to the read aloud. The clarity, the fluency, the content, all matters. But you need to understand the fluency matters the most. So do not panic, do not self-correct yourself, do not hesitate yourself or hesitate while you're speaking. But make sure that your speech is constant. That's what a lot of students miss out. They do not make their speech constant. Make your speech constant without pauses and hesitations, and you will never miss out in the fluency sector. With the new strategy, you will also get full marks for your reading module. Now, important tip, for your reading, you get somewhere around 30 to 35 marks from your read alouds. That's it. Just from read alouds, you get 30 to 35 marks for your reading module. So my suggestion is, please make sure that you do this task properly. You make sure that you do not miss out in the content, and follow the strategy, the recent strategy which we introduced approximately 3 months ago. Follow that strategy so that you get your full marks for your read aloud section, and that means towards your reading module. Okay, now guys, we have covered the 5 steps to improve in your read aloud. In the next episode, we will be covering the 5 steps to improve in repeat sentences. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, you can always comment. You can always ask for tips and strategies, and you can always ask us to make videos or strategy videos on certain topics where you feel more hesitant, where you feel more weak, so that we can cover them and therefore you can improve. That was it, guys. Vishal signing off from Visual Language Experts. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you, everyone.